I'm back with the next review on the channel, and as promised we are looking at another big one. Now this thing is so big that I've had to sort of rejig this makeshift setup to try to get it all in shot. This is the 75256 Kylo Ren Shuttle, and I cannot wait to get into this. Quick note before we do get into the shuttle, this is, well, my last Rise of Skywalker set. Essentially, I already own a Millennium Falcon, so I didn't get the Falcon. I have 3 X-Wings, so I didn't get the X-Wing, and, what else? The Sith TIE Fighter's terrible, so I didn't get that. And a few others, ones that no one really cares about, so I didn't really go out and get those. But what I'm saying about this, and the reason why I bring this up as my last Rise of Skywalker set, is because I'm planning on doing wave reviews. So essentially, even the sets I don't have, I'm going to figure out a way to do it, is I go through and I talk about the entire waves as a whole. You know, how good is the Rise of Skywalker wave? How well does it stack up to The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi waves? And just see how that goes. I really want to start doing that, and I hope you people want to see that. I think it'll be a nice sort of variety to the content besides just doing standard reviews. Now, as always, let's get into Kylo Ren Shuttle. This set, just like the other sets from the first wave of Rise of Skywalker, was released in 2019, and it has 1005 parts. I'm going to try to show you this set the best I can, and the first thing to point out about this thing is just how damn big it is. It's one of these sets like the Slave One. None of the promo art that LEGO releases does this thing justice. You don't know the true scale of this thing unless you actually build it yourself. And the main issue with this set is just the space to display it, because the wings are so massive, and LEGO's done a very clever feature to aid with space saving, which I'll show you later. First of all, this is a remake of a set from 2015. The original set that came out for Force Awakens was called Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle, and it was incredibly inaccurate, and it fell under a lot of scrutiny under LEGO fans because, well, first of all, Kylo Ren's shuttle is clearly black. This set does a very good job of that. This set is in mainly black with accents of dark bluish grey. Well, LEGO did their last Kylo Ren shuttle all in dark bluish grey, so yeah, it fell under a lot of hate. It was easily sort of the least desirable of the Force Awakens sets, and also the wings didn't fold out. You see how these wings fold out? Well, the original Kylo Ren shuttle from 2015 just had that. That was all the shuttle can do, and there was I think a few flaps at the bottom you could open. First feature of the set, well, how do you open the wings? It's incredibly simple. They just fold out. They're just gravity assisted. Now there is one thing you can do if you wish to fold the wings in. If I go around to the back of the shuttle, again, it's very, very large. One of these engines, this engine on the right here, it twists. The other engine's just loose, it doesn't do anything, but this one, it twists up, and it's very, very good. This isn't even necessary, but it's such a cool system to actually fold the wings in. Now, in the films, the wings do fold out more. This is the max, by the way. This is all they go. In the films, they do go out more. That's just impossible with the LEGO set. I mean, the model would be so unstable because obviously as the wings get lower, the Technic system inside has to support more weight and obviously more tension with the bricks. So that's not possible. But this is a very, very, I mean, it's incredible the way it is, right? It just sits on they are 2x2 inverted tiles on the bottom there. They are round, so the ship has no problem sitting on this, and it's very, very stable like this. Getting into that wing folding system I talked about for space saving, LEGO did this with the last Kylo Ren shuttle, and it's just this little part here. This little Technic piece just lifts out, and then the whole thing swings in. Now it can get a little stuck. This is something that I think a few people have experienced, but it will go down, and then it doesn't lock into place down. Now you can see the wings have completely folded down, and you can just see now, if you don't have a lot of space, you can easily display the shuttle like this, or just put it somewhere on a shelf. Now obviously it doesn't look very good here. You want it really with the wings out. I had to really readjust my shelving to get this thing to fit. But this is, I mean, it's such an accessible feature, right? Because Obviously not a lot of people do have vast amounts of display ability. I'm going to take you around to look at some of the fine details of this craft, because there are so many little details that you otherwise wouldn't see. Now, I've mentioned that LEGO made this set predominantly with black with accents of dark bluish grey. Well, that's a very clever thing to do. It's a very good thing to do, because if this set was all in black, which would probably be more accurate, you would lose some of the details, and yeah, the set would sort of just be a black wash and you wouldn't really pick out any of the little highlights. But yeah, this set did come out in 2019, so it has a lot of new sort of modern parts. We can see cheese grater pieces, ingot pieces. These are the lollipop pieces that were relatively new. We have ice skate, minifig ice skate pieces inverted in black at the back there. We have like a Ford mudguard on the back there. So many really cool little details of this thing. There is an interior, I will show you that later, but we have lights on the front here, lots of little light pieces, very nice. The main cannons are just little sub-assemblies. They use gunmetal grey lightsaber hilts going back. They look very nice. And we do have spring-loaded missiles also in the set. I'll show you those later. But swinging around back, again you can see a decent... I'm going to try to zoom out here. A lot of this is studded, but there is more tiles as you go up, and there is again some very like basic detailing here, but there is a good sort of healthy stud to tile ratio, which is always appreciated. Obviously the wings do feature a lot of anti-studs, which usually within LEGO are rather unattractive, but with this set it's okay, and yeah, it doesn't detract from the overall look. A lot of it again is one color, so it sort of just like morphs into one. But yeah, I mean, usually people will complain about this, but I think it's actually done really well on this set. Now, you could have it so that the anti-studs are on the outside of the wings, but then it would just look terrible when you fold the wings up and you see all those anti-studs on the outside. Now, round back again, we can see the engines a little bit more detail. There is a storage box at the back here. There's nothing in it. I don't really know what you would put in it. There's no like stud shooters on this set. But it is there. Maybe it's just for use of detail, I think. We have two more sub-assemblies at the back here. You just literally click those in. They use some cheese slopes. You have some grills in the matte silver. And you have these relatively new modified 1x1 tiles here, which look very nice. Now, they do use... tiles that are like inverted Technic pins to actually slot them in the back here, and they do use light bluish grey, and if you actually look, you do get this sort of like band of grey at the back that I'm not a big fan of. But again, I mean, this set is so near, it's so near to perfection that, I mean, I'm really nitpicking there. This is definitely one of the most popular LEGO Star Wars sets of the last like 2 to 3 years. It's honestly insane. I don't want to make this review any longer than it's already going to be, because I probably know that this is going to be another half-hour job, so I'm going to take you in and show you the interior. The entire front will just swing open and we have access to a full interior. Now, the last Kylo Ren shuttle had another space in the back here. It had two interiors, and the reason why that's had two interiors is because, well, this set uses sort of the same really basic frame as the last one, and of course the last one didn't have the wings that splayed out, and the mechanism to actually splay this version's wings out is in the back. So of course we do, with the mechanism included inside, have to sacrifice some interior space. Now that really isn't an issue, because it was just like an empty box you could put figures in the back. That's absolutely a fine compromise, because we have a full interior inside here. I really have tried to get you in as close as I can. This model's just so big, it's really interfering with the music stand that I use to film these let's just say my starting videos with before I upgrade. But you can see it's a pretty basic interior, but that's okay. We have 3 seats that go along the front here, and the only modification I made to this set, the only modification, literally 6 pieces, 6 tiny pieces, is I added some joysticks in the front. The joysticks are not there on the original set. I just felt like the joysticks sort of completed the pilot seat, and I think it does here. We have these wonderful modified tiles that are used to sit the minifigs down. It's a great way that LEGO introduced this a few years ago now. So when you separate when you try to lift the figures off the studs, they don't separate, which is very nice. You have a seat on the pilot's position there, and you have a singular console. This was introduced with Lego Ninjago, and it's now been used, I think, a few times in Star Wars. We also have some weapon clips on the side of the shuttle here. There are two for your spring-loaded shooters, or they could be used for, obviously, minifig accessories. I'm just going to show you that you do have two very, very basic prints inside here. By the way, all of these have been prints. Oh, yeah, that's another great point I'm actually going to talk about later. But you have those just mimicking consoles here, and then the back two seats actually double as the ramp, the boarding ramp for the main ship. Now I'm getting down really low to show you the ship's ramp. This is the same case as Millennium Falcons in system sets for the past, well, 20 years. There is, I mean, obviously this set is not minifig scale. It should be a bit bigger than this, and yeah, there's no way you're actually going to fit a minifigure in there. I mean, I'm just gonna grab the Sith Trooper here. You can see the scale. This is the maximum height that the basic shuttle can sit on. Yeah, it's not very realistic, but I like the illusion. You know, you can sort of place it round figures. There's an illusion of a ramp there. Also, while we're down here, you can see the front sort of cockpit a bit better. It's just used with trans red tiles. They're just trans red tiles stacked. You have some cheese slips here, and you can see sort of the front chin. It does look really beautiful, that sort of black exterior with that like evil strike of red across the front. It just looks so cool. Now flipping the ship over, usually I wouldn't really do this, but I just want to show you these spring-loaded missiles. Now I do have one of them here. I'm going to load it in, and the way we activate it is there's a little exposed Technic axle on the back here, and you just push this up and it will fire out. I have lose that. Yeah, usually I would remove this, but it's very well integrated, not like hidden integrated because it's only just slapped on the underside, but it does work and it doesn't detract from the overall beauty and elegance of the craft, obviously as a display model. Now also it is notable to point out here that as I flipped the ship over, a few of these plates were sort of coming off. They were sort of like half detached, and I think that is because of the stress of the wings. They are like big slabs of bricks and plates that are only supported by a few Technic axles. The set is very sturdy as a whole, I'm not dogging that, but yeah, that is just something to be a little bit wary of. It's figure time now, and we're going to take a look at the star figure of this set, Kylo Ren. He is exclusive to this set, and he is one of the better Kylo Rens I think around. Of course, he doesn't have his helmet for the entirety of Last Jedi, so a lot of those figures can be quite boring, and I'm happy they included the helmet here. Now, there are no exclusive molds. It is the same mold as the Force Awakens helmet. It just has that very nice sort of red scar printing as the helmet is reforged. And it's not really visible, it's not showing up on the camera, and it's also not that visible in person either, so I do wish they are a bit brighter. Going to the torso and leg print though, it does use matte silver for highlights, and it's a very nice new and exclusive torso piece as well. Also, to note with this figure, the cape is that horrible new harder material going back to the old days of Lego, and it does, I mean, it's one of those capes that it can bend and can warp into different shapes if you don't look after this figure. Now, there is a way you can solve that. You can like iron the capes. I've been seeing a few people say that. Having the helmet and cape, you can see it's just that classic angry Kylo Ren. Note with the helmet, it is not dual molded. The helmet is a singular mold, just with printing. Just something to note. But yes, I mean, this guy, it isn't an exclusive head. It's the exact same head that is used for Last Jedi Kylo Ren. You see the angry expression. He also has an alternate expression, which is a sort of slightly depressed Kylo Ren, and you can see some of that back printing now the cape is removed. It is useful for this figure to have back printing. If you do want to sit him down inside the shuttle, obviously with the harder capes you cannot sit the figures down, but there is nowhere to sort of put the cape once you remove it, so that is a bit of an issue. But yeah, this figure's great. He's easily, I think, the best figure of this set. Little bit of a gripe with the lightsaber. Not a big fan of the lightsaber, the way they handled that, but everything else on this figure is really, really nice. To show you how this lightsaber mold works, essentially when you pull it out here, there's like a little bit on the bottom, at the base of the blade that slots into the hilt. Now, yeah, it does look a bit goofy. It doesn't really look anything like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, but it is a fair compromise considering that if LEGO kept doing these custom molded lightsaber hilts for each characters, it would drive up the prices a lot, and they only have a few custom molded ones. So, I mean, this is quite big though. For the whole new Disney Star Wars trilogy, they didn't do a custom lightsaber hilt for Kylo Ren to actually have the proper crossguard. But, again, it's a fair compromise. To the second figure of the set, and I'm already kind of yawning talking about him. Yeah, this guy's kind of a stinker, to be honest. This is General Pride. Now, General Pride is new for The Rise of Skywalker, but yeah, he isn't very exciting. He's essentially just a Disney Star Wars Grand Moff Tarkin. He even uses the same hairpiece as Grand Moff Tarkin, if you look at his hairpiece there. The one thing I do like about this guy is the entire body is in gunmetal grey, which is really cool. I like that. I like how it's, you know, you see it's all glossy there. Yeah, that's not dark bluish grey, that's gunmetal grey, which is really, really nice. But he has no leg printing. You can see he has the most basic torso printing there. Now, removing the hairpiece, you can see he does have an alternate face. This one was the first one, sort of like very stern, and this one's quite surprised, like, what? Sort of an expression on the back there. Getting into the next figure, I think this guy is so cool. This is one of the unnamed Knights of Ren. Now, we're not going to talk about the Knights of Ren in the actual films, because obviously we judge it on minifigs alone. This guy is, again, exclusive to this set, and they essentially did what they did with the Rogue One main cast line throughout the Rogue One sets, and they've split them up through the entire wave, which I think is perfectly fine. Some people see it as like a bit of a, oh, you've split them all up, that's not really fair. But I think it's fine. I think if you really want the figures, you'll go out and you'll complete the wave. Now, this guy does sort of remind me of that Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come. He does really look like that, which is really cool. He looks like the Grim Reaper or something. He has this built-up axe here. I'm not a big fan of like the bright red lightsaber hilt, but it's okay. You use just two, I think, yeah, they are 1x3 bar pieces here with the axe, classic LEGO axe piece on the end there, but it does look really nice. Moving the hood and cape, just to note, he does use this brand new hood mold for 2019. This is a really cool hood mold. It's different to sort of the classic bunched out LEGO one, and it is new for 2019. This thing was seen on Darth Sidious in the most recent Final Duel set, and it's used here, and I actually really like this. It's a really cool, much more accurate mold for a hood. Also, the cape is that harder material, and with that gone, we can see the printing a lot better. I think the printing on this guy is really cool. He has sort of that like weathered, tattered robes look, and again, they've included a back printing, which they didn't need to do. Now, the head is gunmetal grey. Again, lots of gunmetal grey in the set, and we can see like a really nice sort of like boarded up skull look. It's got like metal on the skull. I think that's really cool. Into the second unnamed Knight of Ren, and yeah, this guy, he looks kind of weird. I don't know what his weapon is. I think it's like a baton. It just uses a red bar, some studs, and a lightsaber hilt there to make that up. But he also comes with a thermal detonator, and these are, thank God, they are printed 1x1 tiles, if you can see, which, yeah, LEGO's been doing this for ages. It's not exclusive. It's been so many sets for so many years now. Moving the accessories, you can see the printing a lot easier. The printing is so nice on this guy. Again, I don't know what any of this is trying to represent, but it looks really cool, and he does have back printing as well. Now, the helmet is an exclusive mold for this guy. It is a really cool mold. It is in gunmetal grey again, and you have some silver accents on it there. It's not dual molded or anything, it really doesn't need to be. But yeah, as you can see, there are actually slots in the eye there, and that means that the minifig head is just black. So yeah, not even LEGO knows who the hell this guy's supposed to be, you know? But yeah, that also means you can put this mask on any minifigure and you can see their eyes through it, which is quite cool and quite sort of universal for people that want custom figures, but I would have liked a face print, I think. Yeah, definitely. Into the next figure, this guy isn't really going to show up on my phone very well, but this is the Sith Trooper. Now, this guy is so cool. He was exclusive to this set, but he's since been re-released twice. He was re-released in the Advent calendar, and he was also re-released in the Wave 2 of Rise of Skywalker Sith Trooper Battle Pack. But yeah, he's so cool. He's essentially just a red First Order Stormtrooper. And he has a very nice sort of that classic large Lego rifle with a red lightsaber hilt on the top modified there. But it's a very large weapon, but it does look quite cool. Again, there is some very nice fine detailing here. I don't know if you can see in the light, you can see all those little lines. Yeah, they're all printed on. And there's a lot of fine detail missed, unfortunately, with my quality here. But I mean, yeah, this guy, no exclusive molds. The helmet is the exact same mold as your standard First Order Stormtrooper. But the printing is just exceptional on this guy, and yeah, he looks so cool with all the back detail there as well. Moving the helmet now, surprise, surprise, look who it is. It's the Angry Clone back again. No back printing for the head there. Yeah, it's the Angry Clone. Final figure and worst figure of this set. It's just a First Order Stormtrooper, and this is probably my biggest gripe with this set, because they could have included two Sith Troopers. Two Sith Troopers would have been so much cooler than one Sith Trooper, and this guy, who is not exclusive. This guy's been in so many sets. The generic printing, we can see that Stormtrooper printing in there. Nothing is wrong with it. It's very, very nice detailed printing, but we've just seen it all before. Back printing, again, there he has your standard medium Star Wars blaster rifle. And he has that same helmet print used for Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. The face print, no comment. No comment at all. We've seen it before. So that's it. That's Kylo Ren's shuttle, and again I've zoomed very far out here with my wonderful setup, you can see here, but I'm going to try to keep it brief because I know this review is quite long. This set is so damn good, there is literally hardly anything wrong with it. Lego was a little bit lazy, could have had two Sith Troopers, we only have one Sith Trooper. Yeah, they did try to cheap us out there, I think, a little bit. Just, oh, you know, what can we do? Throw in another Stormtrooper. Yeah, lazy. But, I mean, you know, that is literally the most nitpicks of nitpicks. This thing is so good. For the space and the size, it's absolutely perfect. And I haven't even touched on the price. This thing in 2019 was released for 100 quid. 100 quid for all of this. Just to put that into comparison, the Rise of Skywalker Millennium Falcon is 150 quid. The Force Awakens Millennium Falcon is 120 quid retail price, right? The last X-Wing was 100 quid. This thing's as much as an X-Wing. Come on! I mean, the pricing is an absolute bargain, and of course it is retired now. If you do want to hunt this thing down, you're gonna be looking at about 100 to 150 to 180 quid. So it is a decent price in fluctuation there. But in my opinion, this is the third best Lego Star Wars system set of all time, and I do carry that of all time. It's almost perfect, you know. I mean, with the actual design, yes, it might be very slightly flawed, but I mean, just look how beautiful this thing looks. I mean, on a shelf for displayability, which is what I buy these models for, it is exceptional in every way. Yeah, I think the figures were nice. Not the best Kylo Ren. I mean, and now that I think about it, there is a really cool Force Awakens Kylo Ren that actually came with the shuttle. And his face print was the mask on a minifig head. And there was a hood piece included that was much more accurate to the actual size. Because, yeah, if you look at the helmet's a bit big for the minifigure. It does look a little bit silly there, but that's okay. But yeah, in terms of the rating, I mean, surprise, surprise, if the Slave one's getting a 10, this thing gets a 10 out of 10. Badass seal of approval. This thing is, yeah, it's really, really good. Please, if you have the space and if you have the money and you're looking for a great display piece, even if you don't like sequel trilogy, I don't even like sequel trilogy, this thing's awesome and it looks damn gangster on a shelf, and that's all that matters. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and yeah guys, I'll see you next week.